श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम्
आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं
शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Karma Yoga as a path for preparing oneself for this knowledge, which in fact takes the whole life. The preparation itself is long because one does not have the viveka many times. Even after being told, jnanena evatu kaivalyam. Kaivalyam means moksha. Another word for moksha is kaivalya, kevalasya bhava. So jnanad evatu kaivalyam, there is an expression. Jnanat means through self-knowledge alone, there is this redemption, there is this liberation. Even though one is told, because there is that kind of a arriving at that understanding is a different thing. One can be told many things, but one has to make that knowledge one's own. And here it's not the knowledge of the self we are talking about, it's the knowledge of priorities. And so we have to now look, while in the discussion of Karma Yoga, at an important verse. And what verse is that? I think it's 49? No, not 40. Hold on, 1 second. एषा ते भिहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि। 41 व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्. This is a very important verse, 41. So, why is this an important verse? Let us look at the verse itself. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi eka. He Kuru Nandana. O Arjuna, you delight the delighter of the Kuru clan. You are a delight for the Kuru clan. And what do you have to understand? You have to understand that there is one buddhi, a single-minded buddhi that one has to cultivate, and that's what clinches the difference between gaining this knowledge and then keeping on searching all the time. And what is that buddhi? Vyavasayatmika buddhi means nishchayatmika buddhi. Take your time to gain the knowledge, to prepare yourself, no problem, because after all you have the whole life. But know that it is through knowledge alone that this sorrow of which you speak, this distress, the afflictions, the pain, the fear, etc., will only go in the wake of self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is the antidote to self-ignorance. There is no other thing on earth that can make this a shortcut. In fact, this is the shortest cut. Why? Because you are the traveler. And what is the destination? You are the destination. Who is the, who is the starting point? You. Everything is you alone. There is nothing other than you. So therefore, this is exactly what you have to understand. You alone are the traveler. You are the destination. There is no travel involved here at all. Absolutely no travel involved here. And so therefore, you have to see that through knowledge alone, the shackles of this sense of bondage, because bondage is not real. You see, we are in a very interesting conundrum. Bondage is not real, and neither is it unreal. It is somewhere in between. It is experience, therefore I have to address it, and there is only one way of addressing it. And no matter how many examples we give about how many glasses perched on the head, about which we have forgotten, and then we are looking for the glasses, no matter how much I stand on one leg, no matter how much upasana I do, and no matter how much seva I do, or catch the nose, catch the toes, the only way of becoming the possessor of the glasses is through what? Is through understanding that they are already with me. I am already the possessor of what I want. That's the only way, there is no other way. This kind of a buddhi, the attitude, is called vyavasayatmika buddhi, nishchayatmika buddhi. And Lord Krishna is going to caution in the verses that come. Yamimam pushpitam vacham प्रवदन्ति अविपश्चितः वेदवादरताः पार्थ नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः कामात्मानः स्वर्गपराः जन्मकर्मफलप्रदां क्रियाविशेषबहुलां भोगैश्वर्यगतिं प्रति भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तया अपहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. Up till there the caution is, a cautionary tale is told. Because what happens, because the mind is always like that. I want to know the other side of the scenario. If I don't do this, what will happen? All right, listen, what will happen if I don't have Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi is going to be told, you please listen. And then, when Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi means what again? Nishchayatmika Buddhi. Nishchayatmika Buddhi means a well ascertained understanding of the problem and prioritizing the solution to the problem after the problem is properly understood. The problem with most people is that the problem is not understood. I am suffering because I need one more experience. I am suffering because you are on earth. This is how the people are thinking. If you were not there, I wouldn't be suffering. Simple. I am suffering because I have all these problems. I am suffering because I don't have money. Give me all your money and I'll stop suffering. Simple. This is how people think, most of the people. And it is the cause of suffering has to be understood as non-understanding of oneself and grieving over things that do not deserve grief because they are mithya. Grieving over mithya problems, mithya situations is the cause of grief that we have to follow, that we have to absolutely understand. Completely make that real. And then what is the solution to this? The solution to this is to understand my true nature as it is talked about in the Upanishads and in the Bhagavad Gita. This is another big hurdle to understand. The problem is not properly understood, and if the problem is not understood, the solution is not understood either. The solution starts to shine from various angles. And all you have to do is go out of the gate, enter the one gate on the left or one gate on the right, finished. So many ashrams, so little time. And they will say, catch the nose, catch the toes, you will be liberated. Believe in our Guru, you will be liberated. Why should I believe in your Guru? Our Guru gives instant vairagya. How? You give him all your money, finished. And you have instant vairagya, finished. So like this, there is a lot of confusion in the spiritual verse, in the spiritual universe, the so-called spiritual universe, because at heart one is a doer. One keeps wanting to do this, do that, do this, and then after that do some more, do. And here you are asked to cognitively understand both the problem and its solution, and that seems to not amount to much. And therefore, what happens? It is told that one becomes the victim of flowery talk, pushpitam vacham. And who are these people with the flowery talk? They also are doers. But they are doers with some kind of a finesse. They say this is all spiritual. They are all followers of the first portion of the Veda, which makes people do. Oh, you are having a hard day? Don't worry, I have a yajna for that. You are having a difficult time? Don't worry, I'll give you a mantra for that. And you want to succeed? Don't worry, I have a solution for that. Oh, what's that? You don't want the other person to succeed? We can arrange for that for a small fee as well. So like this, there is the whole world is proliferated with so-called spiritual solutions who are really nothing but samsarins with a spiritual flair. They're all samsaris. They are not sannyasis, even though they may be dressed like sannyasis. They are not really addressing the problem. They are addressing the problem how you are addressing the problem before you came here. Trying this doesn't work, trying that doesn't work, nothing works. Because the problem itself has not been understood properly. How will it work? It doesn't work. So therefore, if one hasn't understood the problem properly, and if one doesn't have that nishchaya, that ascertainment that this is the problem, one falls prey to these kinds of charlatans. All kinds of charlatans are there. Who are they? Pushpitam vacham. They talk flowery talk. Come to me. I will make sure that I will make sure to free you. It's just freedom you want, right? No problem. Why sit and study the Upanishads and get a migraine? No need at all. Give the migraine to somebody else. Let it be somebody else's grain. And you be free. All you have to do is look in between the eyebrows and then finished, you are free. But that means I'll become cross-eyed. Doesn't matter. At least you will have liberation. Like this, pushpitam vacham pravadanti. Pravadanti means they are full of it. They are full of all kinds of flowery talk. Pravadanti, they wax forth eloquently. Who? Avipashchitaha. Avipashchit. Vipashchit means medhavi, jnani. Avipashchit means the ignorant one. They are also ignorant. You are also ignorant, they are also ignorant. It's like the blind leading the blind. Then they say, all that is there is just means and ends. You have to deploy the correct kind of mantra to be free of sorrow. And guess what? I have a repertoire of mantras. I'll give you the mantra. First they tell you something is wrong with you, and then they appoint themselves as a savior. Very convenient. And then Vedavada Rataha means they are committed only to the first portion of the Vedas, not the Upanishads. And then not only that, they say, what Upanishad? There is no Upanishad. That's just, it's there just as an embellishment of the pages. It's just doodling at the end, Sometimes you sit and just make some nonsensical drawings. That's what it is. Upanishad is not really, you don't need to study. It's good for Abhisheka. Om Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. You do Abhisheka. Then you will get some punya. That's all they'll say. And then Kamatmanaha. They are the Purnavataras of desire. They are the very embodiment of desire. Svargaparaha. They are headed to heaven. And they are giving a glossy brochure of you also wanting to go to heaven. They will Photoshop you in a picture, some kind of a picture which depicts heaven and show, see, this is where you will be. And then Janma Karma Phala Pradam, meaning that they are all into karma, karma phala, etc. And through lot of action, they believe in action. And then they prey upon the vulnerable ideas of people who are already action oriented. And what are these actions towards? The actions are towards only two kinds of karma phala, two kinds of results of action they are interested in: bhoga, enjoyment, aishwarya, power. That's all they want. They want to increase bhoga to the maximum. They want to increase aishwarya, overlordship and power to the maximum. They are prasakta. Prasakta means addicted to bhoga and aishwarya, power and pelf, all these things. And then they're not only addicted, their hearts have been hijacked by the dependency, the need of the power and all these things. And so therefore, for them there is no vyavasayatmika buddhi. And if you go to them, whatever little vyavasayatmika buddhi means the ascertainment of the nature of the problem, that has to be done. When the ascertainment of the nature of the problem takes place, then all other solutions just disappear, except the solution at hand, which is adhyatma. The problem is adhyatma. It is centered on me. The solution also has to be centered on me. It's not that it's not that I need to become limitless. I have to discover the limitlessness, where it exists and how to discover it. This is what I have to understand. This is not understood, then one is all over the place, even after studying for a long time. Some Purva Punya can bring one to a Vedanta ashram. Purva Punya can also make one sit and study. But then, if one is not able to carry on with one's own viveka, the punya dissipates, and in the meantime one is not able to, one falls prey to these kinds of non-solutions. Catch the nose, catch the toes, give me all your money, try this, try that. So the solution is always one, really. Solution is always one. There is nothing, oh, but why can't you be more accommodative? Because knowledge is as good as the object. We already talked about it. Vastu tantram jnanam. Something is being revealed. You cannot say sometimes the self is free, sometimes the self is not free. That is not correct. It cannot do that. And so therefore, sometimes the self is free means what? Are you happy with that? Alternative? No, I want to be free all the time. Okay, then we have to listen to the Veda, we have to listen to the Upanishad. Shravanam is itself talked about in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad as a Pramukha Karana, as the Pramukha Sadhanam, Mukhya Sadhanam. Mukhya Sadhanam means the primary solution, the primary upaya to Atmajnanam is listening. We already seen that. But despite being told, this is one of the problems, is that in Karma Yoga, what happens is that one is busy and then one can be hijacked by numerous solutions if the problem has not been ascertained properly. And so therefore, the Lord Krishna talks about a very interesting thing. So he says that, he says something which is beautiful. He says that he tells him, be careful. This is verse number 45. Let us chant this, then I will, 45 and 46 will chant. Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nirdvandho Nitya Sattvastha Niryogakshema Atmavan Yavan Artha Udapane Sarvatas Samplutodake Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanatah. So, very nicely he is told how to avoid this kind of a situation where every solution shines as the right solution. After years of study sometimes, every solution, ye bhi theek hai, wo bhi theek hai, this is not the level of accommodation. You can accommodate the person but not the belief. So similarly here, you can't accommodate the intolerable fact and the wrong fact. What is the wrong fact? That there are many ways of losing self-ignorance. There are not many ways. Self-ignorance is lost by self-knowledge. And if this is not clear, Viveka has to be applied. And if Viveka cannot be applied, Arjuna is told here to see where is the rub here. Why are you so attracted to the first portion of the Veda? First portion of the Veda simply symbolizes cause and effect and karma and karma phala. Simply symbolizes how to keep on getting karma phala. That's all it symbolizes. The addiction to karma phala. So, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. The Vedas are also part of the three gunas of Maya Shakti, which are Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So, the Veda, the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas is the color palette of Mother Goddess Maya. She paints the whole universe. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, including one's own body. She will paint, and certain times of the day, Sattvic times, certain times of the day, Rajasic, certain times of the day, Tamasic, all this she will paint. Traigunya, even the Veda, the first portion of the Veda are what? They are also the subject matter of the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And what do you need to do in order to prepare for this knowledge so that you are not confused? Nistraigunnyo bhava. Hey Arjuna, come out from under these three gunas. How to come out from under these three gunas? You just told me everything is under the spell of the gunas. How to come out is given in the next line. Nirdvandvo bhava. Stop taking sides. First thing to do is that. In everything we have a habit of taking sides. From politics to religion to any other. Two people are fighting, I don't mind my business. They are arguing, I go quickly and tell my view and have to take a side. Stop taking sides. Know that the reality is beyond all this. And the more I invest in sides and this side and that side and all these things, nothing will happen. So I have to stop taking sides. That's one thing. Nirdvandvo bhava. Nitya sattvasto bhava. That bhava has to keep on being repeated. Nitya sattvasto bhava. And also the thing to do out of the three gunas, sattva is very close to yourself. It is godliness. Sattva is close to your swarupa. You catch hold of sattva and lead a sattvic life. Oh, but if I lead a sattvic life, then this is going to be difficult. Why is this going to be difficult? Because you told me to become free of all three gunas. I will get stuck on to sattva. You won't get stuck on to sattva. Sattva is like the stick in the pole vault game. You know pole vault game? Olympic game? Yeah. So the runner will run for a distance with a stick, plant the stick in the sand, and there is a rope on top, and use the stick to hoist themselves over the rope. And when they come on the other side, do they bring the stick also? No. Stick is left behind. That is sattva guna. It's automatically left behind. You use it to propel yourself to this nistraigunya state, to be free of the hold of the gunas. Gunas means ragadveshas here. To be free of the hold of ragadveshas, first catch hold of sattva. Don't worry, how will I leave sattva? Like in the pole vault game, the stick is forgotten. All that is needed is the jump, and the stick is just a help to hoist me over the top. That's all the purpose of the stick is. Nitya sattvastho bhava, niryogakshemo bhava. Yoga means the gaining of that which I want to gain and not yet gained. And then kshema means protecting what has already been gained. And then by logic we have to add two more things. Getting rid of things I have already gained but I do no longer want. Why? Because my likes and dislikes changed. Sometimes getting rid of things means getting rid of people I don't want also. Then it should also include keeping at bay things I never want. What are the things I never want? Death, illness, all these things have to be, and wrinkles, they have to be kept at bay at all times. So this is what is called Yogakshema. You see how the whole life is devoted to the Yogakshema. Yogakshema becomes the altar of my worship, and that is where I am always found, at the altar of Yogakshema, and keeping on fulfilling Yogakshema. Fulfilling that which has not been fulfilled, protecting that which I have, keeping at bay that which I don't have and don't want, and getting rid of things that I have accumulated but I no longer want. This takes up a lot of air. This takes up a lot of time. No wonder one is exhausted even before the day starts. Because think of where the bulk of the thinking is going. As soon as you wake up, what is it that I have to do? What should I get? What should I keep at bay? All these thoughts come. And I engineer my life trying to be in a comfortable situation and warding off uncomfortable situation, uncomfortable people, all kinds of things. This is a huge waste of time. Niryogakshemo bhava. Niryogakshemo bhava means let this yogakshema drop. These yogakshema needs and desires, let it drop. How can it drop? By catching hold of sattva. First way to make it drop, catch hold of sattva. Then the second way, the very important way of making it drop, give it to Bhagavan. This is what Bhagavan promises in a very famous verse in the 9th chapter. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam, same yogakshemam, vahami aham. Unfortunately, this has been appropriated by LIC Corporation. Yeah. With that Life Insurance Corporation of India. And they will have these two hands and protecting one weak lamp in the middle, and then this whole thing is talked about. Yogakshemam vahamiham. Whatever you want and whatever you want to get, whatever you want to protect, I, not LIC, Bhagavan will protect. I will protect. You do your job. What is my job? Ananyas chintayantah mam. Your job is to contemplate upon me as non-separate from yourself. Your swadharma is to gain this knowledge that you are non-separate from me. Don't just keep snatching my portfolio. This is not your job, is to fulfill your needs and wants. Give it to me. Oh, but how do you know what I want and what I need? Well, that's what, because I am Bhagavan, I know. I made the whole laws of the universe. I know this. And so give that to me, and then you will find that you have so much free time. Your whole orientation is very different. What might that look like? Verse 46 talks about that very beautifully. Yavan artha udapane samplutodake, sarvatra samplutodake. Means, imagine that you have a favorite well. You have a favorite well in the village where you go and nice, clean, sweet water comes. You are very attached to this well. Well. Now imagine that it has rained 20 inches in 1 week, 25 inches, 30 inches. In fact, everything is underwater, including the well. What use is the well now? Will you look for the well? Where can I get the sweet water? I want water from that well only. Meaningless. Everything is underwater. And so, samplutodake means there is abundant water everywhere. The well is also gone underwater. Of what use is this well? No use at all. Tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. In the same manner, all the Vedas means the means and ends, and the desire fulfillment program of all the way talked about in the first portion of the Veda have the same purpose as the well which is underwater. So know the limitations. Know the limitations of what the raga dvesha fulfillment can lead to. It can lead to finite gains for a finite time, but then your sense of finitude it will never remove. And Arjuna is told one more very important thing, which we all know. This is a famous verse from the Veda. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. A major tenet of Karma Yoga is the acknowledgement of Ishvara in one's life. Not just as the laws, but the author of the laws, who is non-separate from the laws. And one of the laws is the law of karma. And what is the law of karma here? The law of karma has many, many components. First component is what? That if you do something that is pleasant, then what will happen? You will get punya. If you do something unpleasant, what will happen? Papa will come. Uncomfortable situations you have to endure here or in the hereafter. If you do pleasant karma, you will get dharmic karma, then you will get pleasant situations. Very pleasant situations you will get. This is one law of karma. This everybody knows. But a little known law of karma is that you are not the agent of action. You simply are not. You may be the agent of action, but you are not the producer of the results of action. I told you the story of Pujya Swamiji. The Belgian man came to India, and what was he saying? Namaste. Namaste. And everybody said, yes, Baba, namaste, okay, namaste. How come when you do this, no sound comes? When I do namaste, why is there a sound? Why sound is coming when I do namaste? That is because you have a say over the action itself. You are putting a certain kind of a force, but once you put the force, you cannot withdraw or retract that force. Karma phala. The karma is already there. Done when you bring the hands together, the namaste, the sound produced is the karma phala. Karmani eva adhikarahate. Karma you can do, yes. But in a strange setup, one of the laws of karma is what? You are not the author of action. Not the author of action, result of action. Result of action are in my hands, not in your hands, Lord's Bhagavan says. But how is that? This is such a terrible setup. It may seem like a terrible setup if you want all kinds of things. It's a wonderful setup for Atma Ajnanam removal. It's a wonderful setup for self-knowledge. Because how long will you keep doing action, addicted to result of action? And the result never comes. Why doesn't it come? Because you are not in charge of it. That's part of your own punya profile, papa profile. Why is it that you do the action and the neighbor gets the results? How come? That is because of their prarabdha and your prarabdha intersecting. That is what the thing is. The fruit tree is in your yard. Yay! Fantastic! Lovely! But it is bending over the neighbor's compound and dropping all the mangoes over there. Prarabdha. And even if you just become a police, a fruit police, mango police. Hey, that's my mango. I saw it drop. It is from my tree. Look, my tree is planted here. They are going to say, but it fell in my yard. Go. This is not understood. Why is this set up like this is not understood? I tell you, it makes self-knowledge much easier. That's the only reason why this setup is like that. And therefore, in order to lessen the frustration, we take out ourselves as the author of action also. Much freer I am. Don't make me the author of action. Bring in Ishvara right from the standpoint of being the actor. Drag in Ishvara as the proxy actor and just say, yes, I am doing, for all practical purposes, it looks like I am acting. But then, I am not the actor, I am just an instrument. You do everything. You offer up your action as a prayer. Then it becomes karma yoga. Otherwise, it's just karma. It's a setup for disaster. Because I can take care of the known variables. I cannot take care of the hidden variables. The hidden variables in the form of my own karmic order are many, too many to control. I do not control anything. Karmani eva adhikarahate. Therefore what? Ma karma phala hetur bhuhu. Don't be an actor, Arjuna. Don't even take the ownership of action, because that's where the problem starts. Don't take the ownership of action. If you take the ownership of action, you are setting up yourself for a disaster. You become a walking disaster. And then at the same time, what else is the human tendency? I'm just going to sit. I'm not going to do anything. Why? I don't control anyway. Action, result of action. Let somebody do, let something happen. I'm just going to sit. That's an action or not?
Inaction.
That is an action. That is not inaction, that is action. Refusing to do something, you have made a choice. Wherever there is choice, there is action. You are not just refusing to do, you are continuing to be very gloomy about it. You are continuing to mope. Is moping, is the word to mope a verb or not? Yes, moping is an action. Here you are moping. Yes, it's an action. You are refusing to participate. More about that in chapter 3 we will see. You are refusing to participate in the show because the show is not to your liking. Action or inaction? Action. And so, mate karmani asangaha astu. Stop. May you not stop acting altogether. Act you must. Because you have it within you. There is swadharma, there is swakarma. Whatever you need to do, you need to do. You need to make certain decisions. And if you say, I will not take a decision, that is also a decision. The decision to procrastinate, that is what it is. the decision to procrastinate you have done, that is what the whole thing is. Now this is a terrible setup. How do we come out of it? Two very important components of Karma Yoga, you can add it to the discussion of Karma Yoga earlier, are given in verses number, I will tell you, 48 and 50. So this will be very important definition of Karma Yoga. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmad yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam. So, yogastha karmani kuru, yoge sthitva, karma yoge sthitva, yogastha, sitting firmly in karma yoga, practicing in karma yoga, continue to do whatever you need to do. The first component has to do with action and result of action. Gain equanimity. How to gain equanimity? Where to gain equanimity? Equanimity means sameness. Is this sameness gained with regard to action? I keep doing the same action? Not possible. So, do I keep getting the same results of the action? Not possible. Where is this sameness? It's the attitude in which I receive the results of action. That is where the sameness is hinted at. The attitude with which I receive the result of action is where samatvam yogaha uchyate. The first definition of karma yoga is given here. Overt definition. All the other definitions we have seen. Samatvam yogaha uchyate. Sameness or equanimity in how I receive the result of action is called karma yoga. And how is that available? Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. Success, failure. Gain, loss. And success and we saw that. Success, failure, loss, gain. All this I consider equal. How? I train myself. I grow out of the ragadvesha of considering one outcome more important than another. But one outcome is more preferable than the other, no doubt. Otherwise one will not do karma at all. If I am doing some karma, I prefer one outcome, definitely. It's okay to have a preference, but I train myself to not let that preference direct my life. That is samatvam. So if the unpreferred result of action comes, what do I say? Tathastu prasada. Prasada is again another word lost in translation. We can't really translate prasada unless you say prasada. That is maybe the translation. Prasada means loosely, glad acceptance. Like when you go to temple. One day what happens? Ball of calorie. What is that called? Laddu. Yes. Laddu. And you were not even planning to go to the temple. You were just walking by. Suddenly somehow the footsteps slowed. Bada laddu. In Tirupati they make, the laddu is as big as a heart attack. That's why. That's why the whole family and the neighbors on this side and the neighbors on that side, the people living behind and the people living across. Everybody has to share it. You can't eat it by yourself. So you just happened to pass by the temple, somehow you went in and then you got a big laddu here. Really, all for me? Yes, all for you. Happy cholesterol, no problem at all. All for you. And the person came out with 32 teeth all showing. Yay! Especially in the ashram life, we just look forward to these kinds of things, yeah. Gulab jamuns, another smaller ball of calories, laddus, and some other things, yeah. Today there'll be something because the sadhus are being fed. But of course you saw that even before I did, coming up here. So, something nice, in the ashram life with one day rice dal, next day dal and rice. Yes, so these things, shine, these moments shine, they are like, oh yippee. This is why I'm glad I decided to come to the 3-month course. We need sort of intermittent reinforcement. And who doesn't have a few sweet tooth? Just some unlucky people, really. Yeah. And then, so what happens is that you are a newfound bhakta of what? Sweets, yeah, laddu. And so next day also you decide to go to the temple. Yes, I'm a newfound devotee, I'm going to the temple. What did you get next day? Just a little bit of holy water. Here, in a little round teaspoon. Here, slurp it up. Sad. So, this is what is called prasada buddhi. Whatever comes from the temple is prasada. One day laddu, one day tulsi leaf, one day just water, and then don't lose hope. One day a big vada from the neck of who? Yeah, from Hanumanji's neck. One vada came, fantastic, sweet as well as savory, wonderful. So, this is the key to coming out of sorrow, is to have equanimity in my attitude towards greeting the result of action. Here too I bring in Ishvara and say prasada buddhi. Prasada. When I see it as prasada, then something happens to the raga dveshas. They go away immediately. Okay, it's not just something, I was not targeted, this is just prasada. Sometimes I say prasada, sometimes prasada. It doesn't matter, but it's still prasada. Still prasada. Disappointing it may be, prasada. Exhilarating it may be, prasada. Prasada buddhi. And in India, everything is prasada. Everything is prasada. Even people are called prasad. Yes, Rama Prasad, Krishna Prasad, Durga Prasad. And let's not forget the famous example. What is that? Lalu Prasad. An embattled politician. Yeah. His mom took one look at him and said, not mine, Krishna's problem. Named him Lalu Prasad. In jail even as we speak. We've been to many scams. Krishna's problem. When I say prasad, that means I let go there. I don't control it. I just learn to enjoy it if I can, to the extent I can. I grow to enjoy prasada because it is there for my growth. It's wonderful, really. Children are prasada. Anything that comes is prasada. And getting this prasada buddhi becomes easier when you know that there are only 4 kinds of outcomes that I have to manage. Only 4 outcomes. We have talked about this. Outcome number 1, better than my expectation. And the classic example is what? I cross the road in order to catch the bus. Cross the road, but instead of bus, a friend I had not seen in a long time comes in a nice air-conditioned car, says, let me take you out for coffee, I'll drop you where you need to go. Outcome is better than my expectation. Yippee! Scenario number 2, the outcome is in keeping with my expectation. What was my expectation? Cross the road, catch the bus. That's exactly what happened. Cross the road, caught the bus. Scenario number 3, story of everyone's life. Cross the road and miss the bus. Missed buses, missed opportunities, story of everybody's life. Cross the road and miss the bus, meaning the outcome is slightly less than my expectation. And what is the 4th scenario? Yeah. 4th scenario, I was crossing the road, ... When I came to, I started to ask some fundamental spiritual questions. Who am I? What for have I come here? Why am I here? All these things. I was a good citizen. I looked to the left, no car. Looked to the right, no bus, nothing. The road was empty. Was empty? No. Except for one banana peel right in front of me. Not very appealing, but nonetheless. What happened? Slipped, fell, broke a leg. The outcome is opposite of my expectation. These are the only 4 scenarios I have to take care of. And in fact, make that into 2, because out of these 4 scenarios, if you take care of the first two, which is namely, which are they? Outcome in keeping with the expectation, outcome better than my expectation, then the other 2 are taken care of. This is how I gain samatvam. Now, this is a very important definition of karma yoga, correct? Yes? So now we have one Mr. Pickpocket. Okay? And he says, what does he say? He says, I have been looking at the neighboring house with the binoculars. Nicely I have been looking. And that fellow has a nice safe, and every day he is counting the gold, jewelry, everything, and rupees in his safe. And then what am I going to do? I have dug one tunnel. Where? From my house to this person's house. I have sent my family away to an undisclosed location so that they are not part of this. Poor things, why should they be embroiled in this? No need. And I am a karma yogi. You're a karma yogi? Yes. How? Because when I plan to do the deed tonight. So when I do the deed tonight, there will be 4 kinds of what? Outcomes. One is outcome in keeping with the expectation. I have spied with the binoculars. I know the combination. I know what to press on the keypad. So I'll press, I take it out. Exactly, I thought there will be what? 15 kilos of gold. There is about 15 kilos of gold. And then I knew that there will be lot of cash. There was lot of cash. And then I come out. Scenario number 1, just like you described. Scenario number 2, 25 kilos of gold. And even more cash and jewelry. Diamonds also. I'm okay with that. Prasada. I have a prasadic attitude. Prasada-filled attitude. Scenario number 3, that stupid fellow went to the bank to deposit a few things. Only 2 kilos of gold and 20,000 rupees. Theek hai, prasada, I'm okay. Scenario number 4, I touched the blessed safe, some dang, 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 dang comes, and one cage comes on me, and I'm caught. And it has called the police also. The police are also on their way. That also I'll say, Prasad, I'm okay for all the 4 scenarios. Am I a karma yogi?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm a karma yogi?
No.
Yes? Yes? Kotidvayam. Some people are saying no. Some people are saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
Why yes?
Because
I have samatva buddhi. Okay. Why no? Dharma is not there. I cannot violate the laws of the universe in order to say, in order to please Ishvara. I cannot violate the laws of the universe. And even dharma is not there, that is true. But here, even if we go, even if we don't look into the dharma aspect, the person is not a karma yogi, because what was the first definition of karma yoga? The first definition of karma yoga is the acknowledgement of Ishvara in one's life. Is he acknowledging Ishvara in one's life? No. That is why he is not a karma yogi, which is why this definition is not sufficient, which is why we have to go further and read the other, look at the other definition. What is the other definition? Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yeah. Buddhi yukto jahati iha. The one who is endowed with this karma yoga, meaning the equanimity, gives up the papa punya, and then what is karma yoga? Kaushalam. Kaushalam means discretion in what kind of action I should do, what kind of action should not be done, how the action should be done. All this I have to have an understanding, otherwise I am not a karma yogi. Kaushalam. Kaushalam means kushalasya bhava. Kushala usually badly translated as skill in action. The pickpocket also has skill in action. We saw the person just now who is the safe robber is what? Also having skill in action. But it's not to be translated as skill in action, rather it's the discretion in interpreting dharma to a particular situation, to a particular scenario. The interpretation of dharma becomes very, very, very important. Dharma is interpreted because we are no longer talking of samanya dharma. We saw dharma in detail. We are talking of vishesha dharma. Dharma according to particular place, particular time, particular situation. So the one who is able to manage the situation is the karma yogi. Not only the one who has equanimity. Yes, equanimity is important, but skill in interpreting dharma is very, very important. Otherwise, one will not know what to. Well, one will not know what to do. One will not know at all. One will be terribly confused all the time. What is this skill in interpreting dharma? Skill in interpreting dharma means what is appropriate at what time, in which kind of a situation. All this constitutes karma yoga, because the manifestation of Ishvara in this world is there very much there. So therefore, I just go along with the flow. Why? Why should I go along with the flow? So as to cause the least disturbance to people. Why? It is my way of respecting people. Respecting people is respecting Ishvara. If you have to go to a funeral in America, then the color that is worn in most Western countries is what? Black. What about a funeral here? White. So if you are an Indian and you are visiting America and then somebody invites you, please come and grieve with us, this is a funeral, you say, no, I am a proud Indian at heart and I am going to wear white. It's not wrong. Nobody is going to put you in jail for it. But what is going to happen here? what is going to happen is that you are going to disturb the situation. You are going to cause disturbance. And what have these people done to you? Nothing. You are going to take away the focus which should be on the bereaved. And you are going to take it on to yourself, because 10 people will come and ask you, why are you wearing white? Why are you wearing white? And you'll have to keep explaining, you'll have to say, this is my statement and I'm from India and all this. No, unnecessary. You've just gone there for half an hour. This is what is karmasu kaushalam. It's not going to make that much of a difference to you whether you wear white or black. Doesn't matter to you. So in situations that do not matter, and it's not some kind of a expression of some kind of a big religious belief or something like that, then you say, okay, this if somebody offers you something to eat, which has flown, which has walked, which has talked, and you say, no, I don't eat such things, there you can say, I'm sorry, I can't eat this. That's a different thing. But here it's not a question of religious belief, it's not a question of anything, it's just basically showing respect. And there's nothing wrong in showing respect. In fact, that's how you get respect. If you want people to show you respect, what do you have to do? Show everybody else also the same respect that you think you deserve. It's just one of the first points, hallmark of decency. That is what is decency everywhere. So, yogaha karmasu kaushalam. Kaushalam means I do what is expedient. I do what is dharmic. And sometimes it is very difficult to know what is dharmic. What is the correct thing, it's very difficult to know. Especially in Kali Yuga when everybody is doing the wrong thing. That's why the Upanishad says, Atha yadi karma vichikitsa va vritta vichikitsa va syat. If you have any questions about conduct or how to be, how to conduct yourself, how to think, how to act, if you have any problem, look at the elders and role models that the society upholds. Positive role models. Look at them, see how they behave. Behave like them if you can, or talk to them. Talk to somebody you admire and respect and ask them to guide you. All this is given in the Upanishads for this reason alone. Dharmanna pramaditavyam, and then what? Kushalanna pramaditavyam. The word kushala has Upanishadic backing, that's why it is there in the Bhagavad Gita. Kushalanna pramaditavyam. Do not neglect the application of this kushalata, this dharmic expediency. That's the best way to translate kushalata or kaushalam. Dharmic expediency. You don't want to stand out like a sore thumb. You don't want to defy simply because you can defy. Everybody is wearing white? No, I'm not going to wear white. That is an act of defiance. And so this way, we just learn to go with the flow. Because why? You did not make the flow. The flow was already there. And if you don't go with the flow doesn't suffer. Who suffers? You suffer. Yes. You are the one who suffers. Time and again. Because it's a lonely place. You have chosen a very, very lonely place to be. It's a place of victimization. It's a place of powerlessness. And therefore, Karma Yoga is a way to empower oneself to prepare for this knowledge by discovering that there is a flow and joyously going along with the flow, especially in areas which doesn't matter to you that much. And as one lives more and more, less and less the areas will matter. There will be more and more areas I can let go of, and I can focus on what is most important to me, this knowledge. That is the whole idea. All right. Yeah. Then, the third definition of Karma Yoga will be given in, third means according to the book. We have already seen many, many points. And the third one, according to the Bhagavad Gita book, will be seen in 6:23. 6th chapter, 23rd verse. How to keep sorrow at bay. Very beautiful teaching. We'll wait till we come to that. We'll wait till we come to that. And for now, he extols the virtue that what happens is that leading this kind of a life, your mind is no longer distracted by wants and don't wants, and you have that sameness of mind, and you are no longer a rabble rouser, and you are just there, you have a certain discipline, you have a steadiness, and then you are firmly established in this practice of karma yoga, then you will definitely gain self-knowledge. You will do that. And then what? Then Lord Krishna stops talking. Perhaps he thinks the tea bell has gone and maybe I should look for a cup of tea. But Arjuna doesn't give him that. Arjuna asks a question. And that question is there, where? In 54. Arjuna uvacha sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthita dhih kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. Shri Bhagavan uvacha prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atman yevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnastadochyate. There is a question in Arjuna's mind, because all this question of a person of knowledge and karma yoga is leading me to being a person of knowledge. What does this person of knowledge look like? I too have a pair of binoculars. Let me see who is the person of knowledge. I want to find out where they are sitting, how they are talking, how they are walking. So he coins the word himself, sthita prajna. Sthita prajna. Sthita prajna yasmin, in whom the knowledge is completely non-moving, means the one who is firmly abiding in the knowledge. It's not Lord Krishna's word. It's not Bhagavad Gita's word. It is Arjuna's word here. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. What makes them tick? How do they talk? Maybe after enlightenment one has to talk softly and slowly in order to make an impact. Maybe so. Maybe the voice changes. Or maybe one talks fast because they are ahead of everybody else. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. And who is this sthita prajna? Samadhistha. The one whose mind is unwavering, even though they may be eating, drinking, etc., they are still in a state of samadhi, so to speak. Their mind is not away from the knowledge. How does the person speak? Kim prabhasheta. How does the person sit? Kim asita. How does the person move? Kim vrajeta. Arjuna thinks that once I identify a jnani, like a bird watcher, we identify the spotted woodpecker, okay, and then you say, okay, let me look at its habitat. Where does it live? What does it eat? So I'll know all about this woodpecker. So similarly, if I just turn my sights on the jnani, then I can emulate whatever they do, and I also become jnani. Not so fast. Why? Because the jnanam is an inside job. Inside job, not an outside job. It's an inner transformation, and it does not matter what looks like from the outside. What it looks like from the outside, it does not matter at all. You see, in the Kumbh Mela now, all kinds of jnanis have gone. So many jnanis, so little time. So many sadhus. all sizes, all shapes, all genders, everything. And so therefore it is very difficult to tell who is a jnani. It's impossible to tell who is a jnani by looking at their face, by looking at their body, by looking at how they walk. If you have a Mahatma from South India, they will demand idlis every day. Where is my idli? And if you have a Mahatma from North India, they will say, where is the chapati? If you have a Mahatma from Europe, whatever they eat in their country, they will want, because they are used to that. That doesn't mean that they are not jnanis. It's not that they should eat the same thing, they should walk the same way. No, they should wear the same thing. No such thing. The criteria are completely different. The criteria for understanding who is a jnani is an internal, there are series of internal criteria, and that's what has to be understood. That's why Arjuna's question is answered in spirit, not literally, by Bhagavan. And what does Bhagavan say? Two characteristics are given which become the pratigna for this section, and then those characteristics are going to be unfolded. First characteristic, the person is able to let go of whatever fancy catches the mind even as it crosses the mind, which not many people are able to do. Yada kaman manogatan kaman sarvan, every fancy that crosses the mind, as soon as it crosses the mind, they are able to let go. Prajahati prakarshena jahati, the person is able to forcibly just let go. Then the second criterion that is being talked about is the person who is happy being by themselves without any external props. And if you say, I'm also very happy by myself in my room, I will say, okay, unhand your phones and unhand your laptops, then be in your room. That is the whole idea. That without any kind of device, without any kind of desire being fulfilled, without dependency on anybody, anything, the person is happy, Atmani eva, inside oneself, Atmana eva, by themselves. How is this possible? We will see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.